Yay!
We did it! Yeah. We did it, everybody!
It's alive!
We won!
It was The Sims. That was what did it.
Yeah.
You're welcome.
The power of Sims compels you.
So hello, everybody. I feel awkward because this is not my channel and I'm saying hello first instead of Eris, but I want to thank you so much for deciding to host us. Putting on all the work of fighting with OBS behind the scenes and, you know, wrestling with things. If you are watching, you're about to see the pilot episode, which means everyone figuring out their roles and characters of Clockwork Vines Group 2. So for everyone's information, there are two groups of players in the Clockwork Vines universe. The Clockwork Vines universe is basically a mirror universe of 1880s Victorian world that we know of. It takes place in a faintly European, faintly wherever I want it to location. And I'm very, very excited to introduce this botanical steampunk world to you all. Before we get started, I want everybody to introduce themselves very quickly, who they are, who they'll be playing, where we can find you, and then I'll get everybody into today's adventure. I will caution, I've been having a lot of allergies, so if you hear me clear my throat or I don't come through clearly, that's just life. And in case you don't know, I'm Honey, aka Honey and Dice. I will be your keeper, because that's what you call it in Call of Cthulhu, for this particular fun time adventures where nothing terrifying at all will happen. So let's start with Eris and work our way through. And we will start with Eris, like I said. Who are you? Who are you playing? And where can we find you on Twitter?
Hi, I'm Eris Savad. You can find me on Twitter at Eris_Savad. This is my channel. Welcome. I hope you have a great time. Today I'm playing Lottie. Lottie is, well, she's a very innocent-looking girl who does a lot of odd jobs, and, you know, sometimes she just comes up with random, very interesting items for her friends to buy. That's it.
All right, and we will move on to our individual who is going to be playing William Lindsay.
Hello, that's me. My name is Brent. I'm also known as @DorkLord Canada on Twitter. And yes, I'm going to be playing Dr. William Lindsay, late of Edinburgh University, and now residing in London? Question mark? I'm really happy to be here. It's going to be exciting.
We're going to move on smoothly over to Jess, aka Genevieve.
I am Jess. My Twitter is right under my face, I believe. It's at Miss_Jess03. You might see me down in the chat as Angry Nerd Girl. I'm the one throwing the pink cats around. And I'm playing Genevieve Framingham, owner of Framingham's Finest Fruiteries. And she sells a lot of stuff you might find in your weird aunt's attic.
All right, we're moving on to Vay with Solomon Ross.
Hi, as she says, I am Vay. You can find me at Vay_D&D on Twitter, which is soon to be Vay TTRPG, because I do more than D&D. It's time to move on in the world. And I will be playing Solomon Voss throughout this campaign. He is a lawman from the city of Berlin who has moved to London to sort of seek out a smaller, more homey style business, and the Solomon und Williams law firm.
And then we'll move over to Margaret, aka Danina.
Yeah, hey, I'm Margaret. You can find me as Margaret Maynard on Twitter. I like lots of gaming things. That's the short version. I'll be playing Danina Crescent, who loves plants, their effects on people, and the gardens where they grow. And that's the skill she's decided to develop because it's good for a lady to have a hobby.
And last but certainly not least, individual that is going to be playing Charles Remington.
Hey everybody, I'm Chase. You can find me on Twitter at DM_Dracolai. I will be playing the gentleman Charles Remington V. I born, raised, and educated in Cambridge, moved to London about 2 years ago, where I met all of these lovely people. I'm a carpenter by trade, but let's see what adventures have in store.
All right, I am so excited and hopped on too much caffeine. All right, so to begin our adventure, the world of Clockwork Vines is botanical steampunk. That means while this is set on the cusp of the industrial era finally getting its, proverbial wings, so to speak, we focus more on the floral, more on the artistic, more on the things that have been here before technology became what it is today. This group focuses in on a very specific area of London. This is 5 to 10, it's a 10-block alley known as Alstromeria Alley. This is a paradise for people who, for lack of a better term, don't belong. There's lots of quaint shops. There's lots of quaint and quirky people. But it's 5 blocks of cobblestones, a center place known as the Flower Row Marketplace, and then 5 more blocks of cobblestone road. Flower Row Marketplace is known throughout London for having the most exotic and wide array of flowers from all around the world available for sale or arrangements. People from all over the world travel twice a year to this one floral marketplace that becomes the epicenter of anything botanical twice a year. That's this time of year. Alstromeria Alley also is the location of the Abbey of Agrimony. It's an orphan's home, paid for and protected by the people of Alstromeria Alley. Alstromeria Alley is a safe zone. That is, no guards go there. They've managed to keep big business out of that area, focusing on small areas. And even though the smoggy, metropolitan, so to speak, areas of London encroach upon the very edges, once people cross that threshold into Alstromeria Alley, they know they are in a safe place. Everyone there protects their own. Today, we're going to start with the Flowers Eve picnic. That is, the day before they finally bring in the pallets and buckets and pots of flowers that come in from all around the world. People have been working the last couple of weeks to build the stalls and the shelving and the different more crates to carry things. Everyone around Alstromeria Alley takes a minute to appreciate the work that they've done. They bring their own food, drink, to this center place, the marketplace. Find an abandoned booth or an overturned wagon or crate, set up with their goodies, so to speak, and have a wonderful time with the other residents, enjoying a good meal and getting ready for what is the twice a year to do. And that's where we're going to start our adventure today. It's about 5 in the afternoon. The smell of dust and freshly overturned earth from pots that have been just recently filled is still strong in the air. People are wandering in from their shops, which are closed, all into this center marketplace area. There's a sound of laughter on the air, families who have grouped together. And if this was a TV show or a movie, this would be where the camera starts to pan and zoom in to various people conveniently so we can do our introduction. And in this case, the camera slowly pans in to someone closing up their very unique, and this was Finest Fripperies, right? Yep. Shop for the day, and it focuses on Genevieve. Please describe your character and let us know what she's up to.
Sorry, I just got distracted for a minute because we had a video thing.
Yeah, I'm working on it.
It's okay. So Genevieve is in her early or late 40s. She has kind of mousy brown hair with gray streaks and gray eyes. She's about 5'8", and she may have been slender, but now she's quite soft, but not athletic at any kind. Just looks like she, lives her life to the fullest. And she is definitely chatting everybody up and going around looking and seeing what kind of fun little things are going on with the other shops. She's also covered in trinkets, like, she's wearing ruffles and ruffles and ruffles and about 17 bracelets and a massive hat with huge, do I have one? No, not right next to me. I do have one. I'll wear it next week. Said, I'm just going to put on a fascinator. Yes. She's wearing a very feathered hat and scarves that are out of temp season kind of thing. Like, she's wearing stuff, and it doesn't go when it's not particularly expensive, but she did kind of like the opposite of Coco Chanel's take one thing off. She put 3 more things on before she left the house.
Alrighty then. Jim, as you're locking up, you see a couple of people run past you to go towards this marketplace, carrying baskets of food. Someone has a bottle of milk, but because they're running, quite a bit of it is spilling all over the place, so it's probably only going to be a couple of, sips by the time they get there. And this camera would pan over to, where is Lottie at this time?
Well, Lottie's probably just getting started with her day for the most part. I'm most likely walking around the square, trying to see if anybody needs help. A little bit low on money, just seems to disappear, like a lot of other things. But I'm sure someone needs help. Does anybody look like they're having any struggles setting up?
This is when the camera would go over to our woodworker.
I would be bringing in crates, supplies to repair and build the crates, and I'd probably see Lottie walking around and just, Lottie, over here. I need your help desperately. There's 4 stalls over there that are needing repairs. Just here's a hammer, here's a bag of nails. Just go over there. Do be careful. I cannot afford to pay to get a nail extracted from another finger. Just
of course,
please.
Mr. Remington, of course. Yes.
Thank you.
And I will run over and start repairing.
Can you describe Lottie for us?
Lottie is a petite girl. She looks like she's in her late teens, early 20s. People who know her know she's about 19 years old. She has long, curly, light blonde hair, a smattering of freckles, a very innocent face, and when she smiles, she gets these dimples right in her cheeks that just make it really hard to say no to her. She wears a lot of pretty plain, undecorated clothes. And every once in a while, people see her wearing pants, which is probably not the most ladylike thing. But she, you know, she has a lot of odd jobs, and dresses just aren't the best for all of them. Today, she's probably wearing a white, high-collared, button-up top, tucked very neatly into a brown work skirt.
A quick description of Charles for us.
Charles is a 5'10" male who is skinny but not scrawny. Like, he's definitely got some lean muscle build to him. He's rather pale, Caucasian, with sandy brown hair. Anyone who pays close enough attention would notice that his right eye is green and his left eye is sky blue. He has a very intricate and beautifully designed clockwork prosthetic on his right hand. He's in his mid-30s and is dressed rather plainly, especially while he's working. He has nice clothes, and the people who know him would have seen him in them from time to time, but typically when he's working, he knows that some sleeves are going to get torn, holes are going to happen in the pants, so he's dressed for function rather than fashion.
All right. And speaking of, we're going to let the camera pan over to a newer comer to Alstromeria Alley, Solomon Ross. As the camera pans over to you this evening, what are you up to? Where are you headed? And give us a brief description of Solomon.
Depending on the time of day, what time of day is this about, would you say?
5 p.m.
He's definitely found a drink at this point. Whatever the closest drink would be, something mild, a cider or something of the sorts. Solomon doesn't have much of a stand to set up. It's kind of hard to set up a stand for a law firm. But he's probably perusing, looking for any interesting knickknacks or products that he could purchase. Solomon's late 30s to early 40s gentleman, with the early starts of salt and pepper on the side through his hair. He has a cloth mask that wraps up around the sides of his face, where just on the edges one could see what could only assume might be either heavy scarring or burn wounds. And outside of that, one eye is a dark brown and the other is a very, very fake blue that, if one's close enough, could almost hear shifting and clicking with kind of clockwork machination inside of it.
All right, and as you get your beer, your keen hearing, based on your occupation, can hear the sound of footsteps following right behind you as you move along. And they seem to hasten as you move from one booth to another. And if you turn, you see a young teen, dark brown skin, messy hair, scarring, along arms from hard work and so on, holding this envelope with this look of both trepidation and uncertainty. There's not that many people that match your description, so when told, go deliver this to Mr. Solomon Ross, and this is what they look like, it's very clear who you're supposed to be. But it's hard to break the ice with someone who looks as imposing as you do, so to speak. So you see this youth standing behind you holding an envelope, and just kind of freezes in place every time it looks like someone is looking at him.
Solomon will pause and just to make sure that he's being followed, and he will churn about face just 180 degrees and stares at the young man just for a few seconds in silence, just regarding him up and down. Is there anything I can help you with, young man?
He just has that extended sound that youths who get startled but shouldn't be startled because you're following someone. It's just a long Yes, the letter you deliver. I am delivering a letter to you because that is what Yep, envelope. Just hands it over to you. And it has your name, Solomon Ross, written on it in very elegant cursive.
Do I recognize the handwriting with a short time being in the town? No. Okay. Then, thank you for taking the time out of your day to deliver such. Who gave it to you to give to me?
Ooh, it was a person, and I can't tell you who it was, because if I tell you who it is, then I get in trouble, but I can be like, hey, here's an envelope, please take it, because, it's monarch business. And you would know that there is an elusive leader that's supposed to be in charge of everything down here. No one has ever seen.
Amy, we might want to pause because we are all off.
We disappeared.
We all disappeared.
We're gone.
OBS keeps taking the window crops and removing them for no reason, even though I've locked every single one of the windows, so I can't even move them. I'm working on it. We can still hear.
Oh, we can hear? Okay,
yeah,
cool.
Still here. It's just OBS keeps removing the crop information. And I can't,
making it.
I'm working on it.
And with that, darkness falls. But yes, there is an elusive leader known as the Monarch. Everyone who pays, so to speak, for protection, or has someone that they need protected or taken care of, they usually go speak to the Monarch. But no one knows who they are specifically. And printed on the very edge of the envelope that you're holding is the faint sketch of a butterfly.
Solomon will tip the boy a small bit of change and pocket the letter and go on his way.
And with that, about the same time that this is happening and that comment about getting nails removed from fingers takes place, you kind of feel that disturbance in the force kind of sensation. Mr. William Lindsay, as the camera pans over to our doctor.
Yes. So I usually take over in every market square. There's always that one really unprofitable, awful spot that nobody really wants. So that's where I've set up my doctor's tent with a couple of cots in case people get small accidents, a little of the worst for alcohol, and partially for myself when I get a little worse for alcohol later on. So, and otherwise, he's just keeping an eye on things and sort of watching the crowd and watching everybody set up. He's just opened a ginger beer and he's just casually sipping it. And yeah.
And as this has happened, you usually get the, oh, I got pricked by a thorn, or oh, I think I got bit by something, or oh, I just found this super exotic squirrel and it's really a rat. You know, those type of inquiries,
yeah.
You know, the drunk people, all of that usually find their way to your tent.
Yeah.
And as that is taking place, the camera would finally go to a herbal shop, so to speak, closing up for the day. And the cameras that we can't see on the screen would pan over to Danina.
Yeah, I shrouded in mystery, though I am at the current moment. Yes, sounds good. There is a shingle sign outside this herbalist shop that says Sweetbriar Apothecary. And yeah, you would see her locking up the front door with a large amount of flowers in the crook of her arm, the way that beauty queens like hold a bouquet, but it's not a bouquet. It's just a whole bunch of cut peonies and lavender. And yeah, I could say more, but
can you please describe her for us?
Sure, I'd be happy to. So she's fairly average height, is probably about 5'6", and has blonde, kind of curly hair. Doesn't take great care of it, but it is braided into a French braid with little tiny purple flowers braided into it. Forage flowers, for those who care about those, because I researched them a bunch for this. And she's wearing a sort of periwinkle gown that has clearly, it's more of a working dress for her, but it's of a fancy make. It's not opulent, but it's good materials and good workmanship. She walks like someone who doesn't really have to be anywhere anytime soon, but has, if you look closely, an expression of paying attention a lot of the time.
All right. And with that, as people are exiting their shops, walking around in the square where things are being put up and set up, and also, you know, individuals like Charles and Lottie who are helping with that last minute repair work that always has to be done before a big event. It gets darker and the street lamps start to flicker on, reflecting off of
so dark right now.
Yep, it's so dark. It's just no stars in the sky. It's just so very dark.
I've got a street lamp right above me, so I'm fine. But yeah, it's
William and Solomon
are the only two illuminated in light.
It's like a noir. There's just two street lights. You can see them silhouetted.
As this is happening, I will say this. Charles, we're going to do our first roll. Go ahead and give me a no roll. Your education.
Ooh.
That is a 28 of 35.
Okay. As you've been working with the wood today, you've been getting a lot of younger pieces. I'll say that. The wood is a lot younger than you're used to getting for building this displays. It looks freshly cut, freshly harvested, lumbered, whatever the official word for that is. And as so, it can be used, but from your experience with doing all this, they usually get the older cuts of wood to be working for. And we're back. The sun came out.
So are you saying that this wood is like still green?
Yes.
Okay.
There's some of it, as you're starting to go through your piles and so on and doing your repairs, a lot of the wood still has a lot of green to it, which is different than what you're used to on a yearly basis. And with that, you see one of the older residents that everyone knows, Mother Mirage. She's this older individual with snow white, bushy hair and weathered skin. No one knows how long Mother Mirage has been alive, okay? She's got so many wrinkles on wrinkles, and her eyes disappear when she smiles, but they're these sparkling brown eyes, and she still has all her teeth, and she's got the brightest smile. She's always wearing lots of blanket shawls over whatever her clothing is, but no one's ever seen her in a skirt. She always has pants and some buttoned up, shirt on, and these shawls and bracelets and all of those sorts of things going on. And she toddles out of her little home. She doesn't have an official storefront. She just cooks for people, and people know they can go to her house and get some food. and she's got a large pot that she's tottering along with as she heads towards the market, square. And there's almost a hushed silence as she's approaching the square, because when she starts to bring out the food, that's when the party really begins, on Flowers Eve, as she struggles towards the middle of the, I'm going to call it a courtyard marketplace, with her pot of food. What's everyone up to at this point?
Well, I'm going to check on Lottie and see what that dear girl has gotten herself into, and I know that she's going to want something to eat.
I'm going to go up to Mother Mirage and kindly offer to help her set up and just casually, Mother Mirage, what delicious sustenance have you brought for us today?
And she looks at you, looks at the pot, hands the pot over without any hesitation, and it's heavy, it's hefty. Just hands the pot over.
Like, kind of shaking as a little bit as I'm like.
Just that's always the mystery, isn't it? What's in the pot? Doesn't matter what I put in the pot, because you're all going to eat it.
And we will eat it with gusto, I'm sure.
Come on. And she pats you on the back a lot harder than someone of her age and apparently should be able to, as she makes her way. Come on. We're getting the food. Who got the bread? Did someone get the bread? I hope someone got the bread. It's going to be very hard to eat stew with no bread. And she makes her way to the center.
Lottie, darling, there's stew. Are you coming?
Oh yes, I'm so sorry, and I'm like, I'm finishing up repairing, and I start like gathering up all the nails on the ground and picking up the tools. Yes, what's for dinner?
Oh, there's stew. Leave those tools. That'll keep, and I'm sure there's people for that anyway. We can take some of the nails later and make a lovely bracelet or a pair of earrings for you. Wouldn't you just love that? I don't know if you've had a piercing yet, but I can just use those nails and just stab them right into your ear. It'll be beautiful, love. Now let's come get some stew. Spitspot, hurry up.
If William is close enough to hear that, he just sort of leans in and he's like, Lottie lass, don't ever let her do that, please.
Yeah, I wasn't gonna.
Good.
Also, I'm the people she was talking about. So I go and I pick up all the nails and I like put them in a pocket of my skirt. And I'm like, okay, I'm just gonna hurry.
And Genevieve just assumes that Lottie followed her and has been like walking and like gesturing behind her, not looking to see if Lottie actually came.
I'll hurry up. I'll hurry up behind you, and I catch up before you even realize. Yes, that sounds wonderful, Miss Jenny.
What's Solomon up to at this point?
He is beginning to dig into that letter because it's been resting on his mind, and probably found a quiet corner just to sort of look at it.
Okay. As you open the letter, it just simply says, watch, listen, and that's it. An elegant cursive. It just says, watch, listen, and then it has a butterfly sketched there, and it's one of those Victorian or kind of those sketches of an insect that are like meticulously done, so that you see all the details of the wings and how it's connected and so on. It's a very well done sketch of a monarch butterfly.
So is this thing just a scripture shite? And so he will fold the letter back up and join back in the center.
And as you come there, you see everyone starting to converge in the center area. Somebody's brought out some loaves of bread. Someone has some bowls that they're bringing over. Charles is over there carrying a large pot of stew. Mother Mirage is gesturing for people to come closer. Catches you out the glimpse inside of her eye because she's always getting herbs and things from you as well to season all her delicious food. What's Danita up to at this point?
When Mama mentioned, I hope someone remembered bread,
Yeah.
Danita turns on her heels and goes back to the shop and is like, right, bread, and comes back with, she's still got the flowers in one arm and then just a whole bunch of loaves of Victorian milk bread tied up in like a silk scarf. And she's just hoping it's like, I almost forgot. Yes, here. It's lovely to see you and everything smells wonderful. And she goes to take a sprig of lavender and put it behind her ear.
Mother Mirage just smiles, this big toothy smile, gestures everyone over and says, I remember when there wasn't hardly anything here. Just me and a whole lot of other people who didn't want to be bothered. And now we have built a community of people who care and of both people who dare. And she waggles a finger over at you, Lottie, knowingly, and then looks back at everyone. Eat. Tomorrow we open our doors to strangers, have to pretend to like people for, a couple of weeks. Then we can go back to normal after taking all of that money. She just laughs hard and gestures over from people as she takes gestures for Charles to set the pot down, and takes the lid off the pot, pulls this abnormally large wooden spoon seemingly out of nowhere and sticks it in the pot and starts stirring and squints over towards Solomon, who's newer to her in this block, and she's gestures to make sure you're coming closer as she stirs the pot. All right. So, like we do it every year, I have hidden a coin in this area. Whoever finds the coin gets the first bowl. And someone walks up, but Mother Mirage, it's a lot of space. It's one coin for all this space. And she's like, I don't make the rules. I just enforce the traditions. And she keeps stirring the pot. And so everyone can do a spot hidden, if you would like to look for the coin.
So with the roll with this, I would roll a D100, correct?
Mm-hmm. Correct.
Oh, heck yes. Yeah. I got
Right.
it. I got a 52, and my spot hidden is 75.
Okay.
I got 42, and my spot hidden is 75.
Oh,
Okay.
You spotted it better than
I
me.
got a 13, and my spot hidden is somewhere on my character sheet. Hang on.
I got a 15.
You can't spot
and my
it?
spot hidden's 85.
Ooh, nice.
Oh, God. Okay.
Damn, Lottie. I don't think I have anything at 85.
Yeah.
I thought I could spot hidden things.
William is familiar with the tradition, but he's going to let somebody else get the first bowl.
Okay. And
Because
so
he knows the good stuff is like partway down the. Yeah.
And Solomon, what did you get? I cannot hear you.
By the way, mine was a 13 out of 65.
Good. Okay.
So good with our eyeballs.
We're noticers, y'all. If I manage to find it with that roll, she'll get excited, locate it, and then realize that maybe someone else wants to look for it and back off.
Oh,
but she definitely goes for it without thinking first.
Jenny would never do that. She'd be like, I found it. It's going into a watch.
Still can't hear you, Bay.
Victory.
Okay. Yep.
Yep.
Okay. I was a 20 with an 85 on spot hidden.
Shit.
Okay. Y'all just made that harder than I thought it was going to be.
I think Charles got a 13.
Yes.
Yeah.
That is the lowest that I heard. Charles, you've been working all day on these various booths and so on. So you know what's supposed to be there and what isn't supposed to be there. So you're the first person to see the glint, of a coin under one of the booths. Whether you move for it or not is up to you. Everyone else also sees where this coin is. It's never hidden in a difficult place. But I will say, everyone who got a 20 or below, you also notice that there's something else odd glinting under a couple of other booths. Mother Mirage has never hidden more than one coin.
I'll go after the coin, but if I get to it first, I'm giving it to Lottie.
Lottie's right behind you because I got a 15.
Yes.
Solomon's going to go out of his
you
way.
bend down, you pick it up, you turn around, and Lottie's right there like,
Oh, God.
Nibble showing.
Okay.
hi, Mr. Remington, I got all that stuff done.
Yes, you did. You've earned this. I'm going to hand her the coin.
Thank you.
Okay,
You're
Solomon.
a sneaky one, aren't you?
I don't know what you're talking about.
Of course not.
Solomon, what were you doing?
He's going to go after the closest odd glint. Because he's probably not used to this tradition, but obviously whatever he's seeing is probably not the coin. So he's headed after that.
You seem... You know what? We're going to do another roll to see if we can. You see what seems to be a simple copper wire.
Okay.
If you'd like to investigate it closer, we'll come right back to that. But if you go underneath the booth to see what it is, feel around, you feel this copper wire that's about as thick as a thin vine. So it's not super thin like it would be a filament, but it's not so thick that it can't be clasped between two fingers.
Like a clockwork vine.
Is anyone else doing anything with their super high notice checks because y'all can see in the dark?
You said it was anybody who succeeded or anybody under
anyone who got under a 20.
Oh, okay.
I did not get that low.
Okay.
I'll check out the nearest odd glint that no one's looking at.
The Solomon one booth, you're going to look at the other?
Yeah, sure.
You see another similar copper wire there as well. If you guys would like to take a closer look at it, trying to decide what to have you roll. You know what? Just go ahead and give me a simple idea roll, both of you. That would be your intelligence.
Yeah, no, I got an 83
Okay.
out of 35.
Okay, that's not going to do it.
This is such an odd little thing.
I rolled double zeros, but I'm not sure where exactly to calculate the exact value after that.
Is it possible? Okay.
On a D100?
Yeah, is that the 100?
Yeah.
You rolled a 100?
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
Okay, so
double zeros, yeah.
Yep, so neither one of you notice anything odd. It's just a copper wire with some grooves in it, Yeah, you guys don't notice anything odd, except that there shouldn't be copper wire underneath these boots. And it seems to be connected. If you go to lift it, and you look down, you notice that it is still connected to something.
Like connected to the ground or just
connected to the ground?
Okay. I'll start trying to pull it up and seeing if I can figure out what this goes to.
Give me a luck check, please.
Oh no.
That is a 10 out of 30.
Okay, so you do notice that the wire seems to be getting hotter the longer you hold it.
Like dangerously hot or just warm?
It's gradually heating up. It's not at a dangerous level yet, but it is progressively getting warmer. And it started when you began to pull on it. Solomon, are you doing anything with your wire or just...
He's more checking the ground around where it's coming out of the hole, see if it's been tampered with or anything like that.
Go ahead and give me a luck check, please.
Okay. So, once again, sorry, I'm still trying to figure things out as we go. I'd rolled a 40 on the D100, and my luck roll is 27, I believe.
So let me pull up your sheet right quick because
just
I want to make sure that I'm reading this correctly.
Yeah, I want to make sure I'm getting it right as well.
Yeah. So it's going to be that number that's in the G column.
Okay. So then a 40 out of 55.
Okay, so that's a success. You notice that it doesn't really seem like the ground has been disturbed. It looks more like the wire is somehow growing out of the ground. As in, from your experience, you can tell that it's not like someone dug a hole and put it in there. It's just this has come out of the ground somehow from the bottom up. So while this is happening, Lottie, you get the very first bowl of stew. And it's a very fragrant stew, a whole bunch of fresh vegetables in it. The mystery meat is probably something benign, like a chicken or so on. But with Mother Mirage, she always leaves it a mystery because it's funner like that.
Lottie has no qualms with mystery meat or food. You know, anything that, anything in my stomach is really a win.
Alrighty then. And so, with that, everyone else is welcome to come up and get their bowls. Charles and Solomon, you're dealing with those weird wires over there. Charles, go ahead.
I was just going to say that my prosthetic is probably a little bit more heat resistant than my regular one, so I'm going to use that one and try and like wrap the wire around one of my fingers, and just as with increasing strength, I'm going to see how much pressure I can exert on this in order to pull it out. I don't want to just yank it, but I do want to see if I can pluck it.
Alrighty then. Go ahead and give me an effort roll.
That's not bad. That's not bad. Effort roll. That's a 14 out of 30.
Okay, so you slowly start pulling it, and the wire starts to come out the ground, like you are pulling something that has been rooted into the ground out. And the more you pull out, the hotter it gets. And then you notice that when it comes in contact with your prosthetic, it seems to be, and it could be a trick of the eye, it seems to be getting longer the more that you pull.
Interesting. I'll stop pulling, and then I'll just call over my shoulder, Miss Margaret. Miss Margaret, would you come look at this? I believe this might be something more your area. This seems odd. Danina, that one, yes.
No worries. Sorry, I was having webcam issues. So Danina is going to look up from the soup that she's enjoying as well, because anything unusual is worth sampling. And just sort of, oh, you needed me? And saunters over. What is it you found?
I'm showing her the wire. It seems to be growing, but I'm more familiar with the larger trees, the ones that I can actually work with. You are the botanical expert.
Immediately stops looking at him. Like, is still kind of listening, but is like, what is happening with this? It's a plant. But yeah, let's see, what could I roll to examine this? She'd be very interested in tracking a copper, let's call it a copper vine, down to where it appears to be rooted, and examining, like, metal's not organic. This is strange. I have questions. So is that a biology roll, or?
Do you have a botany? Have you tied your biology to your botany?
Botany is, when I looked up the stats, botany looked like it was housed under biology, so that's where I put the points.
All right, so go ahead and do that roll and investigate that. We're going to check in with our doctor friend over there to see what's going on with...
Yes. Well, after the reminder to bring bread, William didn't bring bread, but he did bake an enormous basket of shortbread for everyone. So he's like, oh, yes, of course. And he turns around and goes back into his tent, grabs his doctor's bag, and grabs up this big armful, like this big basket of shortbread, and carries it out and sort of drops it off on one of the tables, and then stands in line for Stu. And he's just sort of looking around, and if he sees Lottie, he takes he's got like a special little parcel of shortbread, because he knows that if he doesn't give her her own little thing of shortbread, Lottie will probably just like make herself sick standing by the big basket of shortbread. And so as he's standing in line, and he just sort of like hands her, here you go, lass. And
I take a giant bite. Like, don't cut it, just take a bite out of the heel.
Yeah.
It's really good. Thank you.
No, you're very welcome.
Solomon and the wire. What's going on over there?
Solomon is going to take his boot knife out and see if he can't cut through it, perhaps, just to see.
All right. When the metal comes in contact with that copper, you notice the bit that you're holding in your hand. Maybe a trick of the eye. That little overlapping piece coming over the side of your palm seems to get longer. And when you start to saw with that metal against metal, it just seems like the vine is, or wire, whatever, in your hand is growing.
That's concerning. Okay. He's going to immediately stop cutting at it then, and pull back and head back towards the group to tell them about the wire that's growing out of the ground.
All right. Genevieve, how is your...
So eating stew and hearing about the wire, her first thought would be, is it particularly colorful, shiny or anything? Is it bendy? Do you tell? What does it look like? Is it, something you could twist about and put in your hair? Or is it more, something you would use to carry your keys together? Is it ornamental is what I'm asking. Oh, just take me to see it.
Should have just said that from the beginning. So he will make his way back over towards the wire, towards the bottom, get down on his hands and knees. You know, it's very difficult to be getting down like this. And in nice suit, can you please assistance? This fire is growing.
It's growing?
It's like an organic material.
Well, has Danina seen it then? That's kind of her purview.
Speak? I love Solomon's exasperation.
I barely know your name. I have no clue who Danina is.
Oh, she's the girl with the plants. I'm sure you've seen her just frittering about. She's always got some kind of greenery draped upon her in her arms. She's a dear girl.
Are these minds close enough together that I can hear this conversation happening?
It's like Solomon and Genevieve's backs, and then you and Danina's backs, as you both are investigating.
I'm just going to stand there really perplexed, holding the wire. I'm going to look to Danina, then look over to Genevieve, and then look back to Danina. Does she not realize?
Oh, Danina, darling! What do you make of this, love?
Danina's so focused she's blurry to everyone else. Danina's got a webcam issue that she's trying to troubleshoot on the fly. But anyway, I rolled a 9 out of 71 for that biology roll. So I'm very excited about that roll.
Okay. So closely investigating this copper vine, it's not organic, but it has the same qualities, so to speak, as an organic vine. It's just metal. In terms of how the organic material would be knit together, this wire, when you rub your finger against it and see how it's coming out of the ground, it looks for all essential purposes to be
Did something go wrong?
And you turned your camera off.
Your camera's off. I was just gonna see if you're resetting that.
I'm gonna work on it. I can still hear you though.
Okay.
I'm just so
in darkness fall
on this plan.
But just on Danina.
There's lights on everyone else.
Really
but
Talk about the void speaking back.
Super focused.
Taking it a bit far.
I know.
Oh no, now Charles is gone.
Oh no. We're gonna have to redo all the cameras when everybody comes back.
Oh god.
So, Mr. Ross, this is Danina. She's very attentive to what she's doing right now, but I'm sure you'll get to meet her later.
As they've switched places.
Oh no, they're back.
We're good. We're back.
Good. For me, you
Holy
switched
moly.
places. Okay. So yeah, it looks for essential purposes.
On stream, though,
Yeah, it's good on the stream.
Wonderful.
Everything's fine. No one knows. Keep going.
Dana, you notice it looks like a plant. Charles, you notice even though your prosthetic can take more heat, this plant, the more you fiddle with it and so on, it's just getting warmer. And there's this fiddling concern in your head. And you're supposed to be flighting, concern, just maybe overthinking it. But hot stuff near wood is never a good idea.
I'm good enough to do repairs on my prosthetic. I'm not good enough to rebuild it. So once that concern becomes legitimate and not just like anxiety talking, I'm definitely going to just drop it.
So yeah, it is a vine. But strangely enough, it's wire. It's for all essential purposes metal. And it seems if you pull on it, it grows. If you don't, it stays just fine.
Danina's enraptured by this notion and spends a hot minute being like, is this... And sort of talks to herself a little bit while this is happening. Just a bit, could it be sculpture? No, it's too accurate. It doesn't make sense for it to be who would put a sculpture here? It wouldn't make sense. People don't hide them. I don't... And like is coiling it around a finger and like looking for leaves and like I'm picturing cobbles, but like around where the roots are is sort of like digging into it a little bit. It's like if I had my tools.
I need you to go ahead and make me it's a stamina roll, but this is your constitution check for when you wrapped it around your finger.
Goody. You know what I am? I'm super tough. Stamina roll. Hey, that's awesome. 16 out of 50. Woo!
So you deal with plants enough so that it's hot. It burns you, but not enough to be concerning to you because you were so focused with the 16. It's definitely reddened where you wrapped it around your finger. Solomon, you have a special thing. Are you using that quality in that lens right now? You're muted.
There we go.
Mm-hmm.
Solomon will, with the remaining bits of focus that he has in the eye, he'll blink and turn on the infrared that is inside of it and start scanning over the wire for any abnormalities or anything like that.
In your search, and I'm going to give you the opportunity to do a spot hidden roll because you're looking for something that's super special. Everyone else who is not enraptured in the vines right now, I think that may just be Lottie. And it may be Lottie and Genevieve because she may have moved on by now because she can't put it in her hair. I need you to go ahead and
and Genevieve wants to hear what's going on. She was waiting for an answer from Danina.
Danina has started to look through the Vine social media profile at this point.
I'm stalking the Vine.
She just wants to know, is it twisty? Is it bendy? How can it be used to craft something truly magnificent? It looks quite shiny and warm, so it's easily bendable since it's already warm. She doesn't need to heat it up with a blowtorch or put it on the furnace.
So basically, this is just Lottie and William. Go ahead and give me, and you know what? You can as well, Charles, because you dropped the wire. Go ahead and give me a listen.
Listen. Got a 53 out of 25 because I'm really good at that.
I got an 88 out of 25.
What? Lottie has trouble listening?
No, never.
Yeah. Oh, there it is. 75 out of 45. So no.
Okay,
doing great, y'all.
Yeah.
But y'all can see in the dark, though, so that's the most important thing.
It's about time we failed a roll in a Cthulhu game.
Lottie can't hear over the sound of all the chewing in her head.
Yeah.
This is really good soup.
And William is doing the familiar. He's got the doctor's bag in one hand, the bowl of stew in the other, and he's doing the familiar like 3-point juggle of trying to get eat the stew but hold on to the bag and keep the bowl from spilling. And it's a dance he does at pretty much every public function.
You know, Mr. Lindsay, you can do a little bit better if you sit on the curb here.
Oh, I thank you, Loss.
Yes.
Solomon, what was your result for that spot hidden?
Spot hidden is going to be the first one, since it is with advantage, actually. It's 55 out of 85, and then with the advantage, I'm assuming just roll it again.
Mm-hmm.
It's going to be a 91.
So we'll take the first one. Yes. Yeah,
Yeah.
the 90s are good time of music, not good in Call of Cthulhu. So, with that, you notice that the best way to describe it is that there's areas of the vine that are completely different colors, showing that they either are heating up or have heated up, and then areas of the vine that are not. So whatever this thing happens to be, it does have a heating mechanism in it. Not unlike that of a charge that you have seen on in your line of work on explosives.
And if it's growing when he's using his knife, he's going to put his ear to the ground and try and listen for a ticking at that point. Any kind of timer or something like that.
So both Solomon and Danina, based on the proximity of your heads to the ground, you can give me listen rolls. Charles, you can also give me another listen roll.
That's a 2.
Wow. Glad someone rolled well.
Charles is
I got a 98. Nope.
I can see in the dark. I can hear things that don't exist. Headcanon accepted.
Solomon?
That is a 12 out of 85.
Okay. You both hear it, and it's louder. If this was like an isolated sound thing, and the camera was panning from person to person, it's louder for Charles. The sound of a clock, the tick-tock, tick-tock, tick-tock. But it's about 2 seconds off. You know, it's not doing 1 second, 1 second, 1 second. There's about 2 seconds between each tick and talk.
Solomon, being well aware what he assumes this is, shoots up off of the ground and screams, "There's a fucking bomb in this fucking ground. We need to move."
Well, now hold on. Are you sure that this is a
proper
bomb?
language
Just
to use around
I
ladies?
am very fucking sure that there's a bomb in the ground and we need to be moving from this location very soon.
I understand.
Excuse me, what's a bomb?
Mr. Ross, there are ladies and young ladies present. Watch your tongue.
Sorry, let me put it into simpler terms. There is an explosive device underneath the ground that will kill all of us if we do not move.
Oh,
And
now
how much
that
time
is
do we have?
fascinating.
And how much time do we have to relocate ourselves, sir?
I believe that moving now would be the best course of action.
Moving where? She continues to eat her stew.
I'm shoveling now. I'm eating fast.
I'm sure that the food will be here after the explosion has gone off, or maybe not. Perhaps we should just start moving out of the town square.
It seems very unlikely dinner will still be on after a bomb has gone off. Stares back at Plant.
I don't like this talk of a bomb. It's ruining the festival.
Well, a lot of things ruin the festival. Specifically, bombs tend to do that very well.
Do you think we're under attack?
I think that standing around and talking while there's a bomb beneath our feet is a very bad idea.
I'm going to, pick Lottie up while she's eating.
I was going to
and
say,
just
Lottie
kinda-
starts standing up and walking up.
Yeah, Solomon's walking away.
Danina's going to get up and do that moment of, I didn't make that super good check earlier to notice all the vines, but she's going to try and see if she can tell, is there a pattern in where we can see vines to give me some sort of idea of where the central root system might be.
Give me a spot hidden. What is
Okay.
everyone else doing?
Going away.
Genevieve's gonna call to Mother Mirage and make a general shout that we need to evacuate, but try and make it sound fun. The festivities are going on this way, darlings. Come on, it's going to be a great game of charades now. Hurry up!
The Mother Mirage is just standing there with her oversized wooden spoon. Oh.
No, it'll be great, great fun. We just need to leave the square.
I've been doing this for many, many years. We do not leave the square until everyone has had a bowl.
We can bring the bowl with us. I'm sure Charles will be happy to carry it, won't he, love?
I'll set Lottie down and pick up and just go over to the pot. And right then, I'm afraid I have to agree with Miss Genevieve and Mr. Solomon, and I'll pick up the pot. Let's go.
Tending to be mice, and we need to scatter before the cat comes. Go!
So, Captain, this situation is a highly explosive device that will more than likely kill all of us if we do not go.
Between her confusing cat-related optimism and your down-to-the-earth pessimism, I think we have reached a happy balance. But she looks pissed off. The idea that someone may have put a bomb in the middle of her square, during her dinner. And she turns around. The wooden spoon disappears. You don't know where it went, okay? Nobody knows where that spoon goes. And
she has Mary Poppins' carpet bag.
I've been trying to get her to teach me her secrets for years, but she just won't tell me. I wonder why.
She turns around and says, go, 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 get them out. And she's going to waddle over to where, Charles and Solomon were investigating. And she's going to cock her head to the side, take a deep breath as she tries to squat. The knees aren't what they used to be. And she says, oh, okay. Then she's got dark skin, but she almost seems to pale when she sees the wires. And she straightens back up. And then she starts to go from booth to booth. And Danina, what was your spot hidden?
It was a 42, which is a success. 75. So yeah.
You start to see, and it could be a trick of the eye. I need someone to give me a luck check. Anybody, just roll me a luck.
Sure. 7.
74.
Rolled a 5.
Bad.
So are we all rolling it? Because, woo, tiebreaker?
You can all roll. Let's go ahead and roll.
47 out of 45.
Oh, 94. Yeah.
Okay.
94 out of 60. Mm-mm.
Okay. So those who succeeded can see that there's a faint, shimmering, metallic-like glimmer along the cobblestones that seem to be coming out of the direction of other booths, almost like something is growing along the ground towards the center location in the square. Those who failed do not notice that. Stuff is shiny, things are ticking, people are taking their pots and their things. But Danina, because you see that there's other places where there were shiny things under booths, but you don't notice the creeping vine, so to speak, towards the central location.
Okay.
Excuse me, Miss Danina.
What's this, Lottie? Have you seen this?
Yes. Have you seen that? And I start pointing at the vines. I say, look, it's like they're kind of growing into the middle. Like they're gonna like they're gonna grow together into like one tree or something. Oh, that sounds so much fun.
It does. It sounds like a bad place to be standing, though.
Yes. What do you think people would buy the tree for, though?
I don't know.
Death.
Why would you buy a tree? A tree's beautiful. No.
A tree's beautiful, and that's why you would buy it, right? That's why people buy stuff for me, because it's pretty. Especially Miss Jenny.
That seems like a good reason.
If I might, I do believe that the growing of those vines might signify the fuels. So perhaps we should be out of the area by the time that they come together. As lovely as the tree might be, this tree does not produce fruit, it produces our own demise.
You
Plants
don't
always
think our
respond.
shops are at risk, do you? I left Princess Letitia in the shop.
Oh,
I would guess they are.
Princess Letitia.
Princess Letitia Elisabetta von Puddingspire.
Gesundheit.
You haven't met her yet. She's dear. She keeps the ferret in line. You'll love them both. And then
Really
Genevieve is going to flounce off to her shop to get her dog.
I'm just gonna like open mouth. Keeps the what?
I'm surrounded by people who want to die to a bomb.
Danita's going to start to like sweep to the, like if all the viney bits are coming towards a central point, she's going to go away from that central point in the direction that I'm picturing the crowd sort of moving. So she's going to go in that direction, carrying the bread, whatever's left of it, because she can help, but also turning to Solomon and just say, plants always respond for a reason, either because of something they need or something that threatens them. I don't know that it was us pulling on them and examining them. This seems dramatic for that. This feels like something else.
Well, I can tell you that this is more machine than plant. And he goes and pulls out his letter that says to listen, and it's finally clicking in his head what this meant. I received a letter telling me to listen, and it seems this is what to be looking out for.
I would hope. If there's something else this dramatic, that's quite an evening.
Well, hopefully this is the most eventful thing of our evening. However, I believe that this could have been planted, excuse the plant terminology, by someone.
Excuse me. It said that you said that you had to listen for listening. But did they say that it was specifically going to hurt us, or just take a listen because it might be beautiful music, or maybe someone says something important today?
Young lady, I appreciate your enthusiasm during these times, however, and he'll briefly pull down the mask on the lower half of his face, and it's fucked up. Like, man has been seriously burned, probably from his upper lip down to the start of his neck.
Lottie's eyes get a little bit wide, but she doesn't necessarily say anything.
This is what happens when you act foolish around explosives. No offense to you, by all means. I can appreciate the use of the enthusiasm. However, this is not the time for such.
Okay. Well, I'd like to inform you that you're still with us, so if we are all getting exploded, so are you.
That is a fair point, and he's going to keep walking.
I will walk right next to him.
I will flank him. We are out together.
Okay. And what direction are you going? Towards the shops?
Presumably, yes.
I was thinking probably, depending on the layout.
I'm just following along with this giant pot of stew.
And you see Mother Mirage is making her rounds around this thing, stepping very carefully around the wires as they all start to creep in and gather in the center of the square, where there would normally be the biggest flower display. Like, there's already like these wooden trellises, set up, almost a stage-like area. And you see the vines start to creep up the trellises on their own. And I think the first person to smell it, just because this is something that you recognize right away as not good, the faint smell of burning wood starts to waft past you as you walk with that pot of stew, Charles. As some of the work that you've done starts to slowly start to begin smoking. And the passing thought in your head again that this is all greenwood for the most part.
Oh dear. Ooh,
People are welcome to make idea rolls if you would like to.
Sure.
In terms of nothing has exploded yet, but things have started to burn.
Has so Mother Mirage is still in the square?
Mm-hmm.
I got
Okay.
to 22 out of 50.
So William will not have left
91.
until
Just a hard success, I think, for me.
Mhm.
Yes.
Which roll was it?
Idea.
I got a 91.
Oh, God. Okay.
59 out of 60.
Okay.
Yeah, I got a 72, so that's not a success.
Where's idea under here?
It's at the top.
next to
Intelligence.
intelligence.
Beneath
Ah,
charisma. Yeah.
Okay.
I got a 32 out of 60.
Oh, I got a 31 out of 100.
Whoa!
Oh.
Yeah, I remember.
Streetwise.
Damn.
Is that accurate? Like, wait.
Let me check your sheet right quickly.
Lobby
it
is
is-
the smartest of us all.
That's fair.
Is it
Yeah.
the number in the yellow box?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's 100.
Yep, I forgot. She's got a really freakishly high
Yeah.
idea.
Nice.
Damn.
Lottie's creative.
So yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So William's not going to leave until Mother. I blanked on her name. Mother Mirage. Thank you. William's not going to leave until Mother Mirage leaves. So as long as she's there, he's there, and he'll wander up beside her, and it's like, so, what do you think, Mother?
She's going to take a deep breath. They have been after. This is the most profitable thing that we do. It's how we pay any taxes. It's how we get things done.
Mm-hmm.
And she looks very worried. It starts tomorrow, but if there's no place to put and then she starts to notice the smoke, grabs you by the arm, and she's strong for a tiny old woman, and she starts to walk off in the direction that other people walked, and she's just... But why? Why on earth would they choose this? It would just burn and we can put more. It doesn't seem that she's put together that it's green wood. She's just thinking that if it was normal wood, it should combust. But right now, there's just a lot of smoke, almost like a phosphorus response as these wires creep up. The various wooden, you start to see more and more of these copper wires grow over these wooden constructs of booths and lattices and stuff and start to slowly begin smoking.
Is there an entrance anywhere that would take us into the sewers or below the street?
There is. There's only one person. Probably there's only one person that would know how to get in there.
And I think
Lottie?
she's probably already thinking along the same lines as you are.
Lottie?
Yes, Mr. Lindsay.
It's Dr. Liz. That's not important.
Doctor, I'm sorry. I'm so sorry. I'm really bad.
No,
with
that's...
social. Yes.
No,
Dr.
that's...
Lindsay.
No, that's all right. Do you know a way to get underground?
Who told you?
Like into that... Well, you're very clever, so
Thank you.
I just assumed. I think we should find out where these vines are coming from, don't you?
You know, I was just thinking the same thing. Normally I feel like this would go up in flames, but it's just smoking. It looks really green. I'm not sure if Mr. Remington noticed or not.
That's okay. He's got a lot on his mind with the stew pot and everything.
Yeah. Yeah. Did you want to come with? You can can stay up here. I'll go take care of it.
No, I'll come with you. He's still holding the bowl that he had from before. He's like,
so is Lottie. She's still got like part of a piece of bread in one hand, the bowl in the other.
He just finds like a windowsill and like puts it down.
Were you gonna eat that?
Of the pot into the arms of strong enough to carry it, and just go over to Lottie and Dr. Lindsay and just offer my services as well.
But I have gotten my dog and my other animal that might be a ferret by this point. It might be a monkey. It might be a squirrel. Who knows?
It could be a ferret with a skin condition.
It could be anything.
Yeah. You've had enough time to decide to go back in your shop. It doesn't look like the shops are in any danger, but you have no way of knowing that. It seems like everything that is... It's almost beautiful how these wires are growing up and over these wooden constructs in this center square, wrapping around the trellises and, up the various columns and so on. And then slowly starting to burn into the wood, filling this whole area with this smoke as people are fleeing for their homes and shops and so on.
Okay, Genevieve is going to grab the white gloves from her desk, call over Princess Letitia, tell her to fetch, and Princess Letitia will fetch the other scruffy animal that lives here, which she will wrap around her neck, and she will get her walking stick and head out the door with Letitia on her leash.
The visual mental picture.
It's really good.
That was, oh my goodness. Okay, Danina. Let's check in with Danina and Solomon.
Danina sort of started walking backwards a little bit to watch all this beautiful vine action happen. And she'd be sort of murmuring about, well, vines can be beautiful, but also very destructive. And I haven't seen them do this, but... and like just continues that way. And when she sees Lottie peel off into the direction of conferring about the sewer system, she's very curious about this. While she's having this conversation, though, she instinctively pats her like, I think of it as a chatelaine, which I've never actually heard anyone say out loud, so I might be saying that wrong. But the little, it's like a charm bracelet, but for useful tools. And her little golden plant shears are on there, along with a few other just regular implements. And are they going after the root system? And gets very excited. She's sort of murmuring all this to Solomon, though.
Solomon's very much off in his own world of worries right now. How far would you say they are from the law firm right now? Like, how far away?
So everyone's shops are pretty much, like, it's only a 10-block area. So you all are welcome to say how close to the center square your shop is or isn't at this point, based on where you put.
Probably closer to the outskirts. Would he have time to go and grab his firearm from the legal office? Okay.
Because it's steampunk. It's a timey-wimey weird thing going on.
Okay. Yeah.
William has his medical bag. He's good.
Yeah. Actually, I'd probably say Solomon probably would have it with him. Probably underneath his jacket in one of the shoulder holsters. And he's taking out and spinning the cylinder and making sure that he has all of his bullets accounted for before putting it back. If someone has planted this here, once again, apologies for the plant pun, they could have ill wishes for the townsfolk as well, not just this bomb.
Oh, no problem. No problem, Mr. Ross. We'll get to the root of it.
You should seed yourself out while you still can.
Did we leave then?
I believe that there should be enough space for all of us in the law firm if we need a place to sit until this is over. I believe that might be the best course of action unless we really wanted to go into the sewers to see where the bomb is.
Well,
I would really like to go into the sewers to see the system.
Aye.
Lottie, can you show us the way? And it's just like full on, this is the thing we're doing now. Do-do-do.
We're going into the sewers? Is that hygienic, Doctor?
Oh, no, not at all.
You know, it's also not hygienic. The bomb's going off and rubble crushing us. While we are underground. No one able to retrieve our corpses for our families.
Well, it might be dirty, but we won't catch diphtheria from it. It's treating one calamity for the other. And only one is smelly.
Just don't drink anything when you're down there. We'll be fine.
The entire time everyone's talking, Lottie is looking more and more and more nervous. Like, do I really have to bring all these people down through my secret tunnels? Like, am I really going to show these people how I move through the city? Okay, well, all right, follow me, and I start gathering my skirts and tying them up. I peel off into one of the alleyways and make my way down into the sewer system, probably through a trap door that nobody really noticed. It's probably covered with a box, and that Lottie's the only one who ever moves it.
So, here's where things are going to get interesting. As you move that box to the side and start to go down the sewer, it's easy for you. You've got something very special, a piece of jewelry that only you know about, that always seems a little bit more weighted when you go down this way. And when you go down expecting people to be able to follow you, all of a sudden, there's a shadowy figure who seemingly walks out of nowhere as the others approach this entranceway. They've got a hood drawn. They're about 5'11" or so, slender, and they stand near the entranceway, arms folded, features obscured by shadow. You got down the trapdoor just fine.
Do I see them looking behind me?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, hi, excuse me. Who are you? Never seen you here before.
Looks at you, gives you a nod, looks at everybody else, and just quietly says, "She's allowed into the domain of the monarch. What reason have you to go?" As she addresses everyone else.
Solomon.
Princess. Oh, go ahead.
Solomon pulls his jacket to the side, and first of all shows the firearm that is still there, and secondly he pulls out the letter that he was given and gestures to the symbol at the bottom of it.
The figure gives you a nod. You may pass. Looks to the rest of you.
How are Princess Letitia and Potassium Honeydew reacting to this figure?
Potassium Honeydew.
It's Tisha and Tassie.
It makes me so happy.
Oh my.
Sorry, honey.
Okay.
Ladies and gentlemen,
And just
Dr.
like
Ford.
that, I got kicked off the stream.
Honeydew.
Can we all vote to keep you on? Because I'm having too much fun.
Yeah.
You know that reaction that some animals have around people where they immediately get into a position of submission? And like, there's not a fear response, but there's just kind of like they back up a little bit. That's the general energy that they have.
Okay. Okay, well that's a little bit odd, but not like terrifying. They're not like puffed out and snarly. So then Genevieve will step up and say, well, I've been the long-term caretaker for that girl that just went ahead. Lottie has lived in my flat for quite some time. We go way back, and these are her darling friends, Tisha and Tassie, otherwise known as Princess Letitia and Potassium Honeydew. And my name is Genevieve Framingham, and I do believe we'll be good friends. And would you like a bangle? I can't quite see your eye color, but I'm sure I have just the thing that would suit. And she starts looking at all of her bracelets and rings. It's like, do any of these suit you, darling? I'm not quite sure. It's a bit dark down here, but I'm sure those just the thing.
Go ahead and roll me a charisma roll, please.
I do not have much of that.
So while she's offering this mysterious guard a bangle, what are other people doing?
Can I do bargain?
Yeah.
Cool. I'm that much better at bargain.
I'm just...
I got the number. My bargain is 65 and I rolled a 65. I'm sure glad I did that, not charisma.
Okay. Hold on to that success. Charles, what's going on?
I'm going to just kind of continue down the ladder until I get to solid ground and just would it matter at all if I were to say that the young lady over there is in my employ for the evening? I've hired her to be of assistance. Until her job is finished, I feel responsible for her, and I feel like I need to keep her safe.
The figure just looks at you, looks at Genevieve, looks at Danina, and William, prospectively, is also just waiting to hear everybody's.
Offer him a bangle, love. Everybody likes jewels.
Well, I'm curious, and I never play characters that do this, so new territory for Margaret. So while this figure is being offered the joy and wonder of having a new bangle, is there any potential for me to just try to sneak through this? Because that would probably be her instinct to just
while people are distracted.
Yeah.
Sure. Let's go ahead and roll it. Let's see what happens. This will be a hard success because literally this is their job to guard the area. But
so
it's going to be the number that's right after the word roll that you have to get equal to or less than.
Oh. Huh. Oh. Well.
Oh, wait. You're rolling a skill.
Yeah.
Okay, so tell me what your skill number is, and I will calculate what that hard success
okay. The skill number is 60.
Okay. So you're going to have to get 30.
Well,
I believe
it'll be character building. 37.
So close.
Yep.
And what is William doing?
William just, have you seen any copper wires growing down there? Because we've got a bunch of copper wires growing in the square, and we think there might be a bomb. And so Lottie has been kind enough to take us down below so that we can try and find it and stop it. Because a bomb is a friend to no one.
The figure holds out their hand to Genevieve expectantly.
Oh, she will take off a bangle that has a big turquoise, I almost said a turquoise gem, but it's not a gem, it's just fucking turquoise. A big turquoise oval on it, like a bracelet that hooks, just like that. Now this goes with most folks' eyes. It brings out blue or green or brown with the specks in it. It should look lovely on you, darling. And that's, of course, you don't have ours, but then you won't notice. So, shall I fasten it on you, my dear?
Hand fingers, which are gloved, close over the bangle and draws it into their cloak as There's a slight shake of the hooded head. You're welcome to go down. But only because you have 2 people who have vouched for you. Lottie, are they trustworthy?
Yeah, yeah. I wouldn't have brought them down if they weren't. I just feel, I don't know, I feel weird bringing people here. That's it.
Yes, because not everybody is a precious caterpillar to the monarch.
Kind of blush a little. Yeah, of course not.
In my defense, I don't know any of these people very well, but I've been given a letter of recommendation, and they are aware of the situation. Therefore, they are now my problem.
I can say that everyone here has hired me except for Mr. Ross. Everyone's hired me for various jobs at one point or another.
The judicial system is a bit hard to find good help for.
I'm not really good for judicial system, so...
There's the sound of someone, sniffing. Well, that's just going to burn all night. Be on your way. And we'll step aside to allow you down the thing. There's a pause. Just the animals. Are you sure you want to bring them?
Well, darling, otherwise I would feed them, and I certainly didn't want them to suffocate in the smoke of the fire. If they're just a little bit put out, they find him a little bit intimidating, but it's all right. They'll be fine, loves. As long as there's something to eat and some water, and, they love frolicking with Lottie. So as long as they can play in the sunshine and roll around, we'll be fine. There's not ladders, are they? They're a bit tricky for Princess Letitia. But if not, I'm sure Mr. Remington or Dr. Lindsay can just plop her over their shoulders. She's not that big. She's like the size of a St. Bernard.
There's a moment where the guard figure individual, like, you can hear the record scratch of, like, all brains.
Miss Jenny, you might want to leave it.
Leave them with me. I'll make sure they're safe, well fed, and waiting for you when you return.
What's your name? If you don't mind my asking. You've heard my name and theirs, and it's a bit strange leaving my beloved,
Behind him,
not
you
my
see
children.
Lottie going.
My niece and nephew with you.
Knowing one's name in the court of the monarch is something earned.
But what should I call you? I can't call you Turquoise Bangle and Hood now, can I? That'd be a bit rude.
You can call me Flutter. And with that, they're gone.
With the dogs?
Yeah, took
Are
the
you going to
dogs.
say goodbye?
You don't see them anymore,
Okay.
but you get the idea that they're still in the vicinity.
Okay. So then Genevieve will just go, and Mommy will be back very soon. I know Flutter can be a bit intimidating, but don't bite, don't scratch, don't run away, and we'll get to go home as soon as the smoke is gone. Now, do me proud, loves, and I'll see you so soon, and we'll have so many TREATS, and then we'll go for walkies in the park. Mwah! I'm ready to descend.
I'm going to lean over to whoever happens to be closest to me that isn't Genevieve and just, she does know that those animals can't spell, does she?
What if they can?
All right, then.
And you descend into the sewers. Lottie, you've been here quite a few times. Oddly enough, the sewers, the first about, I want to say 5 minutes seem very sewer-like, but once you walk beyond that, there's almost like cobblestone pavements. The walls have, all of this intricate machinery embedded into it, and these designs that are very floral. So you'll see what looks like vines that have flowers on it blooming, but they're really copper tubings with clockwork gadgets and so on. There's probably a reason why a lot of people don't end up in the sewers. In Lottie, there's a little bit of trepidation because there's very few people allowed in the sewers because it literally is a highway to get anywhere in London. Pretty easily.
So everybody who knows Lottie well would see that she seems really at ease, but there's something about her walk that is kind of stiff compared to normal. Probably because she brought you down here. So we don't talk about what's down here, okay?
Oh, of course.
Okay. Like to anybody. And I'm particularly looking at Jenny.
Well, can I talk about it with you? Can we talk about it amongst each other, or is it that secret?
It's better just not to mention it. Ever.
It's more of a letter thing, then. I see.
As Shadowly, as our welcoming committee, I imagine they have eyes and ears all over the city.
How dark is it down here?
Good question.
It's like for 5 minutes in, it seems dark, like you would need, your lantern. About now, when you realize you may need some light, that's when you start to see the gadgetry, and there's light. Like this looks like a deliberately placed tunnel. High tech in how they have done it, but they've almost seemed to have grown it into the walls. There's nothing that is standing out as though they've placed it. It feels like everything here has been grown and nurtured over the years.
Is it lit all the way down like a hallway would be, or is there like darkness as it?
It's these faint bulb, literally like flower bulb shaped lights that are like every 12 inches or so there's another one, and then 12 inches there's another one.
No, I can see why you want to keep it secret. It's quite lovely down here.
Well, every rose has its thorn, and sometimes if you try to pick one, you'll get your finger pricked. So be careful.
But do you come down here regularly then?
I think that's part of the secret that she's trying to keep.
Oh!
Yes.
Well, next time you don't visit, you might want to not take Princess Letitia, just in case it's not altogether, is altogether safe. I just want you to be protected, my love.
I appreciate it, Miss Jenny, but I've been taking care of myself a lot longer than it looks like.
Solomon raises a hand and perhaps I underestimated. What is it that you do here, young lady? I take it that you are involved with those who work in the shadows then. This monarch.
I give you a winning smile. I say, it's okay, it's the dimples.
It's a lot of things, it's not just the dimples, I assure you.
And right when you say that, you see a figure. You're familiar with them, Lottie. This is, young individual. They just call her Peony Pete. And she's got a newsboy cap on, suspenders and, pants, sidearm, looks really curious. One arm is wrapped around a bucket of water. And was like, so I'm Lottie, I didn't expect to see you here. What's going on?
Oh, hey, well, there's some interesting things happening up above ground, and we came to see if there was anything weird happening down here, too.
All right, somebody's decided to set something off that's basically burning the whole core of the whole, place. So I'm over there to bring some water. It's a whole thing going on right now. If there was something you needed, now's not a good time. Like if you needed like a resub,
No,
and then
I
suddenly
don't need
notices
anything, it's okay. But that's why we came, to see if there was any help needed, because then that's our job. Just helping. We definitely don't come here a lot.
Peony just looks suspicious of everybody, just right off the bat is like,
I give him a wink.
Solomon holds up the letter that he received.
oh, okay, you know what? I'm not going to deal with this. You deal with this. I'm just going to go bring the bucket of water to where the stuff is on fire. Because apparently somebody planted a seed and now that's growing.
Seed?
Oh.
Seed.
Sounds like that's where we want to go.
Yeah, that's exactly
where I
we
want to
need
go.
Where
We'll follow you, lass.
Thought it was a bomb.
You don't have to tell us who did it. Where?
Well, I mean, from a botanical standpoint, seed is essentially a very slow bomb.
You could put it that way. I'd never thought of it that way, but that's accurate. We should find where it was planted.
Yeah.
Fascinating.
Do you mind taking this? I kind of get a little bit closer to him, and I'm like, I'm really sorry. We're just trying to figure out what's going on, and then we'll leave. I promise.
So Peony looks at everyone else. All right. So you, points at Lottie. I know you. You, points at Solomon. You've got a letter, whatever. You. And then they just smile a little bit. Bend down, put the bucket of water down. Holds out their hand. What's it worth to you?
Who are you pointing at?
Just everyone else except for Solomon and Lottie. They just hold out their hand. What's it worth to you?
Darling, well, why didn't you ask? Let me see what I have on me. And then she'll start to untie one of her scarves and take off one of the 5 rings she has on one of the fingers on her right hand. So now let me see the color of your eyes and your hair. And she kind of does this with her glasses. Now, if we could use, this ring is a little bit large for me, that's why I wear it on my thumb, but it would be perfect for tying this neckerchief around you, and it's a little bit of a bangle, or a little bonbon, but fashion. It's almost edible, it's delectable, scrumptious for your scarf, and it would bring a little bit of color to you and a little bit of glitter. So now, if this is acceptable, would it cover everyone? Now, if you're not into this kind of thing, then I do have a few bits of wire or some keys, some really fabulous earrings that are made out of.
Just give me the ring thing right here. That's your tool. All right, next.
Do you want the scarf?
You know what? I think love. I think that scarf looks amazing with you. Wonderful look, love it. I'm gonna pass.
You.
I'm gonna pass on that because it doesn't really go with my whole thing.
I do enjoy the ring. Sometimes if you add a little bit of putty beneath it, if it doesn't quite fit, that's what I did. I have such delicate hands, as do you.
Yeah, I've got no complaints. All right, who's next?
William reaches into his sporran and pulls out a wallet And he's like, well, I don't have anything fancy like jewelry, but here's a £5 note. And if you're ever in need of medical assistance, Lottie can tell you where I am. Drop by. I'll sort you out. No questions asked.
Actually, it's good to know. All right, who's next?
As he kind of like moves around, Lottie kind of leans over to him and says, "Beavers are always a good bargaining tool down here."
I thought so.
I have 2 shillings on me. I'll pull out 2 shillings. It's not a fiver, but tell you what. What are there any like support beams here? Okay. My business is usually furniture, but I'm a rather skilled carpenter. If anyone needs any repairs, any benches, tables, I can offer you a 30 quid credit in my shop.
You know what? I'm feeling very generous today because, Flowers Eve and all that, and, honor amongst thieves. All right. That'll do. And then looks to Danina. All right, love. What do you have for me?
All right. I almost called you DM. What's it called? It's not storyteller.
Keeper.
Keeper. Thank you. Keeper question. Do we know Peony Pete's name? Was Peony Pete introduced to us?
Mm-mm.
Okay. Cool. She's going to step forward very graciously and take one of the flowers out of her bouquet of peonies and lavender from before, because I'm still wagging that sack of bread, and I'm not going to try to solve my problems with bread in this game, at least not yet. But, if someone asked, I will give them some bread. But in this case, metaphorical bread, because I will take out a peony and a sprig of lavender and a 10-pound note and place it in the palm and be like, because you're a friend of Lottie's, that is why I trust you. Everyone deserves the resources they need to grow, don't they?
Peony's face just goes through like several iterations of what the, and slowly tucks it away, puts the, looks at the peony and then looks at Danina, looks at the peony, looks at Lottie, looks back. So, down here that was like the equivalent of a proposal. I'm going to assume that you didn't know that.
Well.
All right. Yeah.
How old is this person?
Peony Pete's like in
teen? Okay.
20s, early 20s.
Okay.
But
okay. So less creepy then. Okay, yeah. Good. Just checking. Kindness should not be that foreign.
Well, looks at all the
backs away.
The money, the this and that. Not bad. I was going to worry that I had to put out a fire, so I wasn't going to be able to go out and pool, but I've made everything I would normally make in a night. So, welcome to the domain of the monarch. What you do here may kill you, but hey, what kills you makes you stronger or something like that. You can follow me if you want. We're going to go towards where they planted the seed, so you can see what utter nonsense that is, and see what help you can be, because really messed up with all my plans. Flowers Eve is usually go out, get some money. Hesitates on saying what else they usually do and say, socialize, and then go home, sleep through the first day of the flower stuff, and then go on. But you know what? And just steps aside. If you follow me, please, this way towards possibly certain death. Picks back up the bucket and walks on.
Apologies. So it was a group who had planted this seed then?
I have no idea. It's not supposed to be there. So, yeah.
So, should I have to expect to shoot somebody? Do I need to worry about...
We can only hope. You know, that would make things more exciting, wouldn't it? You know, a shootout or something, you know. Less exciting than just dumping water on a fire. But,
It never goes this easy, does it?
no. Mm-mm.
If it makes you feel better, you can shoot the seed.
That sounds like a bad idea.
Well, you know, it was a suggestion if you really wanted to shoot something.
Not I made enough money to pay for a very decent funeral just by scalping you lot, so why not? Let's go shoot a seed. And then just walks out down the hallway, toying with that peony with a smile, as they lead the way. Are you all following?
Oh, heck yes. Near the front of the group, very excited.
Lottie's
kind of a tourist.
Yeah, Lottie's basically walking next to him.
Mm-hmm.
She already has an idea of where they're probably going.
Mm-hmm.
I'm probably going to be right there with Danina, because why not?
Solomon's taken up the back.
Yeah, depending on...
Oh, go ahead.
I was going to say, depending on how much like a sewer it actually is, William stops and pulls a pair of like pull-on galoshes out of his bag and slips them on over his brogues, and then smooths his kilt and follows along.
This is the most exciting thing that Jenny has done in ages. And she is trotting along with her little walking stick, nattering out some chivalric poems and sonnets about heroism.
And with that, as you head on down to this, you know, if this was a show, the camera would be panning out with the sound of Genevieve, you know, chattering and reciting sonnets. As you head down this well-lit hallway towards who knows what. And that is where we will end today's adventure. I hope you all had a good time, in spite of all of my giggling and laughing, because that...
Oh, are you kidding? That's what made it awesome.
Yeah.
Because of... Yeah.
So what I like to do at the end of my sessions, especially campaigns, is we do an outro, and in the outro you give a brief kind of like inner monologue of your character, what they're thinking in this moment, and then outro yourself, where we can find you online, what you're working on, and we'll move on to the next person. So we'll start from my bottom up this time and go with Charles, as this camera is panning out what's going through Charles' mind, and then tell us a little bit about you.
As Charles is walking through the sewers, if you could hear his inner monologue, you would hear, well, this night certainly took an interesting twist. I'm certainly hoping that this gets more exciting as the night goes on, and I am certainly hoping that Lottie does not turn into another Arthur. But we'll see how that goes. And then for me, once again, I'm Chase. You can find me on Twitter DM Draculai. You can also, for anyone watching who's interested in a short mythology podcast, you can find me on Podbean.
Canted on its side, lying down in the river.
You can find that Twitter at Direct Gods. So, thanks for having me.
All right, and we'll go up to they. What's Solomon's inner monologue, and who are you, and where can we find you?
As Solomon is following along in the back of the group, he is regarding the note that he was given. Inside of his mind, it boils down to, we of all people, a newcomer to this hellscape of a town. I have been given a letter, I pass into this underground society. I can only imagine why, but I surely hope that this doesn't end violently. And as for me, I am Vey_D&D on Twitter. I am a zoologist by trade. I post videos of me working with animals. Right now I am working on a enrichment project for our orangutans are dealing with some mental struggles, puzzles and whatnot, and I'm to be posting videos of that coming up soon. Besides that, I think that's all that I have.
All right, Danila.
The mute button. Okay. While she's following along, but near the front of this group, Danina's passing through this tunnel, and she hasn't spent a lot of time underground. So in her mind, there are a few different thoughts. Of course, it's a seed. Of course, it's a plant. It's aggressive. It's an invasive species. It's a weed. It's a true weed, which is not a thing she normally sees because all plants have a place. She's very entranced by the beauty of the plant-like fixtures everywhere. And to her mind, very introspective level, is wondering, this must be what a root feels like, to be going through the earth seeking something. So that's what's going on in her head. Are there other people with her? Yes. Is she acknowledging it? Not as much as she probably should. But I'm Margaret. You can find me at Margaret Maynard on Twitter. I do silly D&D things. I love lots of different games, though. So I'm very excited to be here and to join you guys again.
Go up to Genevieve.
So Genevieve is so excited now that she knows her dog and Weasel are taken care of, at least in a little bit of a way, because this is just like all of the romance books and histories that she reads. So she's walking in the dark and just going like, some rare queen of old romance who loved the gleam of helm and lance is she, a harper of King Arthur's days, should praise her in 100 ways, the queen of love and chivalry, oh dear to garde ma coeur, ma vie. And I'm Jess. You can find me on Twitter, which is under my face. I'm kind of excited today because the book right behind me, Book of Season Solstices, was nominated for an Emmy, which is a big RPG award. And also I released last week the Big Book of Cats, which is 40 new cats for your 5e game. But if you want to put them in Pugmire, Monarchies of Mao, it works really well for that too. So check that out there on my Twitter. And thank you so much. I'm having so much fun.
William.
Right. So William is walking along and taking in everything. It's fascinating. He's trying to soak it all in because he's not sure when he'll be allowed back down here. But as he's walking along, he's just, oh, this is so beautiful. You have no idea. I've been here years. I had no idea this was down here. And then he sort of looks forward to where Lottie is walking ahead with Peony. And he's like, I'm going to have to give her some more responsibility around the shop. I think it's about time she starts to read from some of my books. She's certainly got the brain for it. And then he just continues on his way, plotting out how to train up his medical assistant. My name is Brent. My Twitter handle is also down below. I talk about gaming a lot. I write about gaming, and I'm an editor for tabletop games as well. You can find a bunch of the stuff that I write about on renaissancegamer.ca. The CA is important. I'm up here in Canada, so, you know. But yeah, thanks for having along.
And last but certainly not least, our gracious host and amazing Lottie.
Hello, I'm Eris Savad. This is my channel. Lottie. What is Lottie thinking? Oh, well, I guess we're down here now, and the secret's out. I hope nobody actually says anything. I'm gonna get in a lot of trouble if they say anything. I wonder if they'll ever let me back here. Oh, please don't embarrass me in front of Pete. That's essentially internal monologue for Lottie. Yeah, you can find me most weekday mornings on Nomadic's channel at 9 a.m. Eastern Time, where we are drinking our morning cup of whatever and talking about games. We're probably going to be talking about this game as well as other games. Wednesday is the next day that we're planning, and we're actually going to have a super special guest, and I'm so excited. It is Brandon, Mr. Swordsfall himself, is coming to join us for the second time. He was with us on Monday, Wednesday, one of the two. He was with us last week. He will be again with us this week, and we are so excited. You can also find me on Open for Adventures channel on Sundays at 4 p.m. Eastern Time for Sunday Friends, where we're playing a 5th edition homebrew adventure from the mind of Camille. And yeah, I think that's actually it for me for now. You can see all the things that I do and the things that I make on my Twitter at Eris_Spot. And Honey, what about you?
Hello everyone, I have been your keeper, the person whose brain works in this strange way. I am Honey and Dice on Twitter and on Twitch and on Instagram, but there's nothing on the Instagram. I just didn't want anyone to take the name. I am a DM, GM, storyteller, keeper. I am the host of the Tea with Honey podcast. And the creator of the Embrace the Initiative workshop, where I help to build more confident and comfortable DMs and GMs in their communities and respective spaces. Outside of that, I'm just really everyone's biggest cheerleader, and I'm so happy that there was such a huge response to people wanting to play this game. Fun fact, both groups, their actions impact what's happening to the other groups without there being any spoilers, because it is the same universe and everything is very intertwined. So it's always very exciting for me to go between the two and actually change different elements and so on based on the decisions that people have made. So very excited to keep going. You can find Group 1 playing on Chromatic Chimera's channel, I think I pronounced that correctly, at 7 p.m. on Sundays, and then we'll be here on Eris's channel on Mondays for the next 6 or so weeks. So thank you all so much. Have a wonderful evening. Remember to love your you, and if that's hard today, or you're having a particularly rough time, that's okay, because it's okay to not be okay, the same way it's okay to be okay. So remember to love your you, and if you can't today, remember that I love you.
We are loading up a raid to Salty Sweet Games right now. I think they're about to wrap up, but go ahead and throw some love in chat for them. They are also amazing, wonderful people and great role players and all that jazz. Thank you, everybody, and we'll see you next week.
Hi, everyone.
Bye.
That's good.